Ladies and gentlemen, the casino is back in Call of Duty 4, and of course by that I mean supply drops have returned to Black Ops 4. Now, I know I already talked about this earlier today, but I felt like I didn't really do the topic justice, so I wanted to do a video alone about the new supply drop system, if you want to call it that, in Black Ops 4. Now, this system is called Reserves. It's already been in the game, but they put a major twist on it moving forward. First of all, the most clear things is you can now buy reserve crates, which have 3 reserve items in them, and they have made the reserve items better. Now, that's a good thing. The reserve items being better is kind of what people were asking for, but now there is supply drops. So what we're going to be looking at in this video is exactly how they work and what this means for the future of Black Ops 4. The good things about it, the bad things about it, and the really ugly things about it. And before we dive into that, I just wanted to let you guys know that later today over on Twitch, I will be doing a live stream with all of the new weapons, all of the new skins. We're going to be looking at all of that. On top of that, we'll be playing on the new maps and trying out the new Blackout map as well. Now, if you're interested in that, it'll be the first link down in the description. And every time I do a live stream, I actually do an open lobby, which means you guys get a chance to actually play some Black Ops 4 with me. On top of that, as this video goes up, I am live streaming right now, so hopefully I see you over there. If not, enjoy the rest of the video. So I think a good place to start here is with what actually used to happen with reserves. So back last season in Operation Absolute Zero, once you hit tier 100 in the contraband system, every time you tiered up after that, you would unlock a reserve, and this reserve would give you a random item in the reserve system, and for the most part, these kind of sucked. There was a couple of Mastercraft variants, but other than that, the things you would get weren't that great. You couldn't get anything like Blackout characters, good skins, or anything like that. So going into this season, Operation Grand Heist, people wanted to see better items in the reserve system, so that way after they hit tier 100, there was something to grind for, something to play for. And well, Treyarch did exactly that. Whoa, let's stop right there, because this screen is a perfect example of what we can actually get from reserves in Operation Grand Heist. So you can get signature weapons plus 25 extra XP, which means these signature weapons not only look different, look cool, they also give you 25% extra XP when you use them in multiplayer. On top of that, there's Mastercraft weapons, outfits, gestures, Blackout characters, and more. So they did exactly what we wanted. They stepped up their game, put better items into reserves, but they also changed the way reserves actually work. So if we actually go to reserves in the black market, you can see 2 different ways of getting reserves. There are reserve cases and reserve crates. As far as reserve cases, those are what you get from playing Blackout, multiplayer, zombies, completing your daily tier skip. You get a reserve case. This is going to include 1 reserve item only, and they take about an hour of in-game play time to get. At least they used to. They may have actually changed that a little bit, but as for right now, we're going to go with that number. Reserve crates cost 200 COD points, and you get 3 items out of the crate. As you can see, I click on this, it says purchase reserve crate for 200 COD points. I do so, we go in the vault, open a crate, and potentially get some pretty cool items. In this case, we got all face paints, of course. One of which was a duplicate, so it re-rolled. Don't worry, we'll talk about that one in a second. Now, the thing I want to stress here is, yes, they may have added some better items, but you can still get garbage out of these things, as you can see here. Now, a big problem going on right now is that this system's actually broken. Remember how we were talking about the reserve cases that you actually get for leveling up your contraband system? Yeah, that currently doesn't work. If you passed tier 100 by buying the tiers and you keep ranking up, as of right now, it doesn't give you any reserve cases. This is obviously a glitch. It doesn't work. They need to fix it, but when is that coming? I don't know. So that's obviously a big problem and a glitch that needs to be fixed, because they said they're going to do something and it doesn't do that. So assumably that's going to be fixed soon. I can get over that. However, there's 3 other big problems with this system that I absolutely do not like. We're going to go from the smallest problem I have to the biggest problem that I have. The first of which is the duplicates that we talked about earlier. So the way that duplicates work in this system, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see 3 symbols and then a green reroll symbol. So what happens is when you actually get a duplicate, it doesn't do anything. As you can see at the bottom down there, now 2 of those symbols are lit up in yellow, and we are now 2 duplicates closer to a reroll. So the way that this actually works is on your 3rd duplicate, you get a reroll. And that's exactly what we saw earlier when we opened up the 3 face paints. That was a duplicate. It was our 3rd duplicate, so we got a reroll. It just so happened that we also got another face paint there, which I hate to be the guy that complains about things. That's a bullshit system. There's no way that you should be able to get duplicates and get absolutely nothing for them. You got to get 3 duplicates in order to just get one thing that you don't have. That means you can open up an entire supply drop and get one thing out of it if you have most of the items, because all you'll get is duplicates. So in other words, I'm not a really big fan of that system. Personally, I believe that every time you get a duplicate, you should get a reroll. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm being dumb about it, but personally, that's how I feel. But I have to say, that's a pretty minor problem. I'm not going to get all up in arms over that. What I don't like, though, is the way they have now decided to do camos. So they went back to the archaic system where every time you get a camo out of reserves, it's for an individual weapon. So in other words, if I can get one for the SDM, as you're seeing here, I can only use that camo on an SDM. Not sniper rifles, not all your other weapons, only an SDM. Now, you may be wondering why this is so bad. Essentially, it completely dilutes the reserve system. It makes it so that the developers don't have to make nearly as many items to create a large pool, because they create one camo that can go on every single weapon. However, to get it for every single weapon, you have to actually get it out of reserves 30 times, or however many weapons are actually in the game. Now, the third thing, and personally, in my opinion, this is the biggest problem I at least have with this, is to me, this reserve system completely destroys the idea of the contraband system. You see, before, the way they were doing things is, with the contraband, they gave you 100 tiers of free content that you were guaranteed to get if you played through the tiers and got those things, or you could buy it. So either way, you can either get it for free from playing or buy it. Pretty simple. I like that. Then, after you hit tier 100, you could keep playing the game and get items at random. These items kind of sucked, but you could get them for free, or once again, you could buy them. Now, you don't even have to hit tier 100 to have all of the reserve items. You can just simply buy supply drops over and over and over again. It is so clear to see that this is just a cash grab from Activision. It is so clear to see, because all of a sudden the reserve item gets better, and now we're going to charge for them. They sucked before, but now that you can buy them, they're actually good. Now, the reason why I say that this takes away from the other system is because the other system was designed for a pay-to-play game. Call of Duty is a pay-to-play. You have to pay $60 for the game. On top of that, if you want the DLC maps, if you want the zombies maps, if you want the rest of the game, you have to pay another $50 for the battle pass. So, they implemented this contraband system as a way to make money throughout the year, but not be egregious. But then after they added that, they also added Blackjack Shop, where you could buy other things. But hey, those were all things and you were buying that exact thing. But that wasn't enough for them. So now they are also adding supply drops to a game where you have to pay for the game, you have to pay for the extra maps, and now you have to pay for everything else too. Call of Duty has to realize that it is not a free-to-play game. Or if they want to implement all these systems for small microtransactions, for, by the way, non-game-changing items, which still thumbs up for that one, but if they're going to implement this, go free to play. Make it so there's more people playing your game so that more people could enjoy this. Or hey, don't go free to play, but don't be overly egregious with your microtransactions. Pick one, stick to it, master it. Don't do what you're doing right now. On top of that, just a little marketing thing that I noticed. They're not called supply drops anymore. It takes the bad media away from them. No, they're these new things called reserves. They're not nearly as greedy. They're not gambling. Well, yeah, they are gambling. And I'm actually really curious to see what actually happens in the countries where supply drops are banned, because there's certain countries around the world that have completely banned supply drops. So does this mean that this won't be in the game in those countries, or will you simply not be able to play the game in that country? I don't know, but I'm really curious to see, and I'm curious to see where this goes. Now, personally, I know it's here. I know it's here to stay. So Activision, Treyarch, if you're listening, the two things that I would change is make it so that every single time you get a duplicate, you get a reroll. And on top of that, make it so that when you get a camo, it's for all the weapons. And if you don't want to do that, make it so that it's for an entire class of weapons, like assault rifles, SMGs, snipers, like that, instead of having to get it for every individual item. It just takes too long, and it completely dilutes the pool. It makes it so that when I get a camo, I don't really care. Whereas if I was to get it for all the weapons, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But of course, as we know, that's not the case. Anyway, guys, this is my take on the reserve/supply drop system. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see here, the best way to stay up to date on all my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video, guys, I always do appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It really does help out the channel, because the more likes, the more people that see the video, and the more people that see my channel. So, as always, that's very much appreciated. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Listen.